So today let me begin by appreciating we have this person, Dennis Rono, and I had asked how to say welcome in Kalenjin, and he told me it's Itagat. So yeah, Itagat. So Itagat to welcome. And we also have Victoria Gatwiri. She said, "Good work, girl. Thank you, Victoria. Lakini unaenda polepole haki nitajaribu kuenda haraka, Victoria. So for that reason, Victoria, in today I'm going to do 2 videos, analysis of chapter 4 and the themes in chapter 4, but I'm going to do that in separate video. So by doing so, I think I'll be fair. Sitakuwa nikienda polepole, okay? Yeah. So all of you, thank you for the comments that you gave me, the positive ones. I appreciate, and actually I'm here for you. And I believe you're going to learn something actually better. So in today's video, we are in the summary of chapter 4, and this chapter has 3 episodes. I have noted them down. The first episode is Miss Mackenzie's journey back to her office. We also have Miss Mackenzie joining VOA. What is the meaning of VOA? And the third episode is Miss Mackenzie meeting Dr. Abiola Afolabi. Now I'm going to give you the summary of the whole chapter. And the chapter begins with Miss Mackenzie going back to her office. Remember, the previous chapter ended with Miss Mackenzie receiving a call from her boss, and the boss wanted to see her. Now that is where she's going. She's going to see her boss, and she promised her boss that she'll be in the office in about an hour, but she did not manage to be in the office as she had promised. Why? Because there was inspection in the road by the guards, and the first stop was Act number 22. Before we continue, I'm going to explain Act number 22. It has been used symbolically, which means you have to explain, you can explain what it means, and we already told that. And Act number 22 serves as a gateway to Banjul, which is the capital of Gambia. And it stands for a date, and the date is 22nd July 1994. When the legitimate and undisputed president of Gambia fell from power through military coup, and his successor had to erect Act number 22 to celebrate his achievement, and that is the meaning of the Act number 22. Now you go back to the story. Miss Mackenzie is late to reach the office as she had promised her boss because there was inspection in the roads by the guards. So his driver was bullied or is bullied by the guards, and the major reason is because they wanted something small. So they had to come up with a story. They accused him of driving a taxi with faulty brakes, which is not actually true because the driver had to prove to Fiona Mackenzie that his taxi had no faulty brakes, and we as the reader know that. So that is the extent of corruption in Gambia. On arriving to her office, the boss was there, and there was a change that was made. She was working for the Gambia News, and now she's going to work for the VOA. We have the VOA here, which is the Voice of America. And in the VOA, we have 2 new characters that we are introduced to. The first character is Mr. Robert Manley, and Robert Manley is the chief of the bureau. Nicholas Sentinel Nico the youth is the communication technician, and Fiona Mackenzie is welcomed by the 2. And you also given the 2 reasons as to why Fiona Mackenzie was chosen for the position. And one is because of her professional expertise, and number 2 is because of her African background. Remember, the meeting is about the 50 heads of state, African presidents. She's informed that she's supposed to start her job immediately because there was a breaking story, and the breaking story is about the 50 heads of state at the Pinnacle Hotel. And rich sentinel is from America, Voice of America, and he is rich in technology. Even today, if you are asked, the country that is rich in technology is America. So this guy had to come with his technology from abroad to Africa. In Africa, we don't have technology. And Nick Sentinel had a machine that is called a silent listener, whose work is actually to monitor and catch all air transmission. He had already recorded several conversations. The first conversation was between who and who? Try guess. Yeah, you're very right. It was between Fiona Mackenzie and her boss. And the other two conversation was between the person who identified himself as the guide. The guide. We already know the guide. And through Nick's technology, he had already discovered that there is a man who is talking to 4 strangers. They are in a kind of a mission. And then after that, Miss Mackenzie is ushered or is welcomed to her new office by the 2 men. That we're going to the last episode, and Dr. Biola Afolabi received a call from Fiona Mackenzie. She wanted to see him. Because of his pride, he had to keep her waited. And when he was satisfied that he had kept her long enough, he went downstairs, but he did not find her. But then there was a scream. There was a man who was abducting a woman, and also there was a guy who was not even concerned with what was happening. It is after some moment that Dr. Biola Afolabi realized that the woman that was being abducted is Fiona Mackenzie. And he decided to help her. And through a fight, he had to fight with the man. The name of the man who was abducting her is the Liberian Mola, or Leo. That is his name. And through the fight, Dr. Biola Afolabi saved Fiona Mackenzie. And he also welcomed her in his suit, where they had to spend a night. And in their conversation, we learned several things. And number one is Dr. Afolabi's wife divorced him the previous year. Also, Fiona Mackenzie informs Dr. Afolabi about Nicholas Sentinel, who has the silent listener. And lastly, we learned that Fiona Mackenzie is paid a lot of money in the form as compared to the 2 beans that the Gambian News was offering her. Yes. Now I can breathe. And that is how the story ended. I think I need a glass of water. So that is the end of chapter 4. You know what is happening. Just make sure you know what is happening in each of these episodes in your own words. And in every chapter we have every episode. Just try to do it in your own words, and that will help you to comprehend the whole book and answer any kind of questions without difficulty. So thank you so much for watching. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki, tupatane katika hicho kipindi kingine. Kwaherini kwa sasa.